welcome to Slice of Piefer. I'm Dr. Piefer. I'm here with
Taylar.
My emotional support personal assistant.
Yeah, I'm here.
And we have the honor and privilege of having with us today Braxton Kilgore. We met in Las Vegas. He is owner and CEO of I Believe in You. An amazing person. We had a ton of time to get to talk together. But welcome, Braxton. And how's your week been going?
It's going good. I'm getting ready for my move. So a little bit more physical work this week than normal, but I always enjoy that. So yeah, man, I'm glad to be here. Thank y'all for having me on.
Moving from Florida to Arizona, huh?
Yes, sir. With a little pit stop in Texas on the way.
Nice. Well, we are partial to Texas here in the Woodlands, just north of Houston.
Yeah.
Abilene and just south of Abilene is a ways for us, but we'll have to see. Maybe we can meet in the middle and have some pie or something.
I've always got an excuse to go somewhere in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. There'll be some like facial moisturizing things you've got to do because it's probably plenty humid where you are now, and I bet in Arizona it's going to be dry, huh?
You're gonna start shedding like a snake.
Yeah, it's different, but it's a different kind of heat. You know, I lived there for 5 years, and when I first got there, I was a little bit like, golly, but honestly, it's nice. I like it.
Just get a keg of like Jergens and just dunk yourself in it every morning.
Yeah, I just take a bath in it every morning.
Perfect.
A bath, a lotion bath. That seems like we could probably sell that.
A lotion bath, expired lotion bath would work the best.
Yeah, my wife really wants me to work on my facial complexion, so I get to use her expired facial lotions. So that's a good one.
That works.
Also keep some like hyaluronic acid ointment in his car too, which every time I go in there, I just get a little like squirt and just put it on my hands. You know, we'll see.
I love it.
It keeps all of the passengers feeling nice and like skin tight, and it's all good. It's really nice.
Yeah. And it's Trader Joe's brand, so you know it's legit.
Are you guys have Trader Joe's there?
Oh yeah, I love Trader Joe's. Plus,
what's your favorite Trader Joe's thing? This tells me a lot about you.
Well, for one, I like that everything is cheaper when I go there, you know, compared to Publix. But
I'll tell you to give you like where I'm going. So my like it's in the Staples weeknight rotations is the chicken shawarma. I love the chicken shawarma, and I know people who will say you can make your own, but I have 4 kids. I'm in a hurry all the time. I ain't got no time. I just throw that on the grill, and it's always good. Meal preps well, good protein. Love it.
Yeah, honestly, I've got a few go-tos from Trader Joe's, but I really like their spicy chicken nuggets and their orange chicken. It's like the freezer section, but just throwing all that into a pan. You can't really go wrong with almost anything there, honestly.
They have these cool ones out right now called carnival fries. Have you seen those? So it's like it's in the dessert area. So I have 2 kids who have to eat a very low protein diet. And so finding things that are actually really low protein is not that easy. And French fries, like for example, are going to be somewhere for a serving around 2 grams, 3 grams, and I need to keep them around 1 per meal. Carnival fries are like funnel cake, but made into French fry form. And so it's a great like option for them, and they are very tasty.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's the opposite of my diet. I'm like almost just protein only, and I have to find ways to fit other things into it.
Yeah.
I'm with you. My diet's just not great. That's all there is to it.
Mine ebbs and flows.
Right. Mine ebbs and flows. Sometimes it's gluten-free for a moment, and then maybe lots of gluten in the next moment. There's strategy in really trying to shock the body with what you're putting into it is what I do. It's a shock and awe type of diet that I go for.
I'm always trying to sneak more protein into mine. And so one day we were at the doctor's lounge, and I'm getting like a Coke Zero and a vanilla protein shake and mixing them, and he's just looking at it like, what are you drinking? I'm like,
honestly,
it sparks joy, and it's helping me make goals.
Very true.
I like it.
Go ahead. I want to talk with you about I Believe in You. This is a really super cool concept. I got introduced to it in Las Vegas. It's obviously your company, which I think you've gone all in for I Believe in You. But you have a really cool backstory about how you decided to found it. I remember my rendition of it, but I'd rather hear it straight from you because I think that was pretty powerful.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. And so I'll give a little bit of the cliff notes because it's a long story considering I came up with it when I was 19 and I'm 30 now and we're still just scratching the surface here. But yeah, it started whenever I dropped out of college twice. I was, I was going for football. That was what I wanted to do. And when that dream kind of came to a halt, I was trying to find something else. And I started a clothing company, and it was called Vision. And so the whole thing was really about people defining what their version of success is, right? Like whatever your vision is, like that can be different than everybody else's. And so it was really more about the mission than the clothing, but because people were so drawn to it because of the message that we were putting out, I started getting asked to speak at, middle schools and high schools and graduations and elementary schools, even like just random stuff, and I was still a teenager myself. And that's kind of where all this journey began. And I'd maybe spoken about 10 schools. I still wasn't any good at it, but I had everything prepared for a specific speech that was coming up. And the principal called me about 24 hours before I was supposed to be there just to tell me she was excited that we're coming tomorrow. And she also just wanted to let me know a little bit of not only what the kids were going through at school, but at home. And so I said, yes, ma'am, that she could explain it to me. And she spent about 10 minutes with just the most heartbreaking information possible. And so, I said, yes, ma'am, I'll see you tomorrow. And I hung up, and I was with one of my best friends, and I told him, I said, well, for one, I'm not qualified. I don't know the answer to any of those questions. I definitely wrote the wrong speech. And I just said, yes, ma'am, I'll see you tomorrow. So we've got to figure some things out by tomorrow morning. And anyway, we were actually down in Houston whenever I got that call back when there was all those floods and everything going on down there. We went down there with a rescue team to go help pull people out of their houses and all kinds of stuff. And I got that call while I was down there. I told him, I was like, hey, we got to leave because I'm not going to show up tomorrow with what I have currently. So anyway, I frantically rewrote a new speech in the passenger seat of the truck driving back across the Texas state. And because I had a label printer from my clothing company, I was able to print out these little stickers that said, I believe in you. And so I showed up the next day, had the staff hand out the stickers to all the kids when they came in. It was in a basketball gym, and there was, 12 or 1,300 kids. So I had the staff hand those out. I did the speech. And at the end, kind of on a whim, I told them, I said, hey, look, those stickers that I gave you are not yours. You can trade it with the person next to you, give it to somebody in the hallway, go give it to your favorite teacher, or go home, give it to your mom, your dad, your brother, your cousin, give it to your neighbor or the mailman. I don't care. But just find somebody and take that message that I gave you today and go give that to them.
Yep.
I left. And honestly, it was like people clapped. The teachers are smiling. Nobody asked me anything too crazy. Like I made it out of there. And honestly, when I left, I was, I felt good about it, but I was kind of contemplating, like, is this something I should be doing? Like maybe I need to be a little bit more qualified before I accept any more of these. Well, then a few days later, the principal calls me back, and she was like, Braxton, these kids ran with those stickers. Like they're being nice to each other in the hallway. They're making new friends with kids they've been going to school with their whole life. They're being nicer to the staff. We've had parents call. And she started telling me all these stories. And my first reaction was like, really? With those ugly little stickers? Like that's what happened? And anyway, it was a pretty cool call. And I didn't grasp everything at first, but when I got off the call, I was like, I should do that at every school. I should bring these. And also, I was running a fashion company at the time. I was like, well, we could also probably not have it on a sticker that is not even a good sticker to begin with. And just the more stories that she told me, I was like, people need people, man. This is not just for kids. Most of the stories were adults anyway from the kids, which was even cooler. And so it really just kind of gave me this realization of like, it only takes 5 seconds and 4 words to change somebody's day and maybe even change their life, which now we've seen the data from that. And I decided to put them on bracelets. And basically from there, when we decided to put them on the bracelets, it kind of became a big enough idea that I didn't want to brand it underneath Vision anymore. I wanted it to be its own thing. And so put together a website and threw them up and started sending them out to friends and people that I knew. And before I knew it, we sold to every state in the U.S., like 16 different countries, and people were posting all over the world with our bracelets. And got to get interviewed on some really cool TV shows and all kinds of stuff. And it was awesome. But because it was posted all around the world and people were seeing me on the TV shows and stuff, they thought it was this, huge company. And the reality was I dropped out of college twice. I was living on my family's farm in my high school bedroom I had the laptop and the label printer already. Now I just happen to have a box of bracelets with me too. And so that's kind of where it was born. And ultimately that was going really, really well. But kind of got to a point whenever I came up with the idea for the mobile app that, after now it's spread all around the world. If you can imagine the stories that I got just from that one little town with the ugly little stickers, now that we ship these bracelets all over the world, now I'm getting stories, everything from people just making somebody's day a little bit brighter to rekindling relationships, to quitting the job and starting the business, all the way to people not taking their own life because somebody gave them a piece of plastic. And so I really wanted to find a way for everybody to be able to see the same impact that I was able to see from all these little moments around the world. And I had the idea for a mobile app that would document all of this. And I went ahead and just announced that to everybody that I was going to build that, while literally not knowing another entrepreneur and certainly not having the dollar amount that they were telling me it was going to cost to build it. Had some companies try to buy it from me, but everybody wanted majority and we're pretty much like, good idea, kid. We'll take it from here. And so I just announced to everybody, look, I need to learn how to be a business person. I'm not going to change the vision. I'm going to go do that and I'll be back. And so I put it on pause for a little while. Long story short, started a number of other businesses. The main one was my consulting, marketing, production agency. Used that company over the last 9 years to fund IBIY, and now that's what I do full time.
Awesome. And now, interesting about the thing about these bracelets and the mobile app that makes it a little bit different, more than, for us 1990s kids like myself and Taylor, who's a 2010 kid. She was born in 2012. So, but these bracelets aren't just friendship bracelets, right?
Right.
Fine. So you've got the mobile app, but the mobile app isn't like, hey, just link up to the mobile app and send me a video. You actually have technology inside of the bracelet, right?
Yeah. So all of our bracelets say I believe in you on them. And the purpose of them is that you wear them with the intention to give them away to somebody else. So it's all about spreading positivity through small acts of kindness. And so what makes them really unique is that, let's say, Taylor, I took this one off and handed it to you today. You could just touch your phone to your wrist and it'll pull up our app, and because it came from me, it'll either pull up like a picture or a video that I made specifically for you with a caption. And it'll basically be a personal message from me to you. And then it'll give you the opportunity to take a picture or video and write a message for whoever you give it to. And so not only do you get to see those two moments, but you also get to see everybody that had the bracelet before me, all the people and those moments and stories of how it got to you, as well as be able to see every city and country that bracelet traveled to up until you got it. And then when you give it away, you also get to watch where it goes around the world and be connected to all the people that got the bracelet. And what's cool about when you give it away is that it'll actually calculate and measure your personal and or organization. We do it for organizations as well. It'll measure your impact. So it'll show that Taylor has 10 bracelets that have been to 23 cities and 3 countries and impacted 40 something people. And you'll be able to see all of that from the individual threads, but you can also see it on a globe everywhere that you've personally made an impact.
That's awesome.
It's super cool. See, the map is really, really cool because you can see the map with everybody, right? Too, right? Yeah. You can look at all of the bracelets everywhere, not just that you've given away.
Yeah.
And so it's really spreading this positivity and this message of hope and connection that I think people are, it's actually, to me, it's really cool because you're taking the technology and really the same things that people are, old timers like me are like, oh, your technology is ruining everybody. And now you're really spreading that, that level of joy and happiness and connection through the same technology that people sometimes get lost in apps. So I think I thought it was really cool in Vegas. It's even cooler to hear it here because being a little bit more focused, I caught more from the story than even I did there, which is really awesome.
It reminds me of like, so when I was growing up, I grew up on the South Texas coast, and we used to go out to Matagorda Island a lot. And I mean, Bayside and Gulf side, right? And I'd always go to the Gulf side, and what I was always hunting for was messages in bottles. And you find more of them than you believe. It was always like some of them, when you open them, it's not anything like special. It's just like so and so and where it was from. Like you'd get them that had traveled all the way down the Mississippi River and somehow ended up on my little small stretch of island. But there's some of them. I remember one when I was a kid. I think I was in the 2nd grade, and I was just starting to read, and like where I didn't need assistance, somebody telling me what it said. And I remember getting one that was from somewhere crazy. It was like one of the upper states, and they had their name on it. And again, it just said the world is good. That's all it said. And I kept that piece of paper in my room, like from that day on. It stayed with me until I went off to college, just because it's one of those things you just get in, there's a random person out in the world who just wanted a little bit of good, to make it out there. And that's kind of what you're describing makes me, it gets you that warm feeling in your chest, like that there's just people out there who just, they don't know you. They don't have an ulterior motive in trying to like be kind to you or to get something from you. They just want you to know that, there are people in the world who are good. There are people in the world who care. And like you said, it's just that butterfly effect of seeing that in positive ways that make somebody's, maybe their minute, maybe makes their day, maybe it makes their year, maybe it makes their life. You don't know.
Right.
Those awesome. Are my people. Those are my people.
That's awesome.
When we talked about this, your girlfriend is a nurse who's going into anesthesia. But one of the big things we deal with in medicine is burnout, right? There's a lot of high stress, high pressure, high stakes. We hear it from physicians, physician assistants, nurses, nurse practitioners. Like burnout is a real thing. And sometimes it's simple messages that really make a difference. Something as simple as just telling somebody, hey, I'm here for you, or hey, I believe in you, or hey, man, that was tough, but I'm here. Those make a huge difference. But I think that the cool piece of this, like this technology and the bracelet and that love that you're sharing in that is it may be the thing that keeps a nurse from quitting. It may be the thing that keeps somebody from walking out. It may be the thing that keeps a doctor from saying, this is my last patient. I'm done and I'm out and I'm going to go do something else because this is so difficult. And so I just think it's a really cool concept. And
thank you.
So what's up? What's coming up? What's coming up now? I think we talked a little bit before we were live about direct to consumer stuff, but you also have been doing some partnerships and kind of co-branding type things. It sounds like how's that working?
Yeah, it's good. I wanted to comment on what you said as well, really quick. That's what's good about this is that we're not asking people to do too much. It takes 5 seconds. It's really simple and like. My girlfriend gives them away at the hospital to patients and other nurses, and it literally takes 5 seconds. And they'll write her a letter this long, or they wait around till she has another day that she works and shows up just to say, like, how much it impacted them, And yeah, I just think it's so special. But yeah, to answer your other question, kind of what's coming up. So we have. We launched the direct consumer where people can buy them on our website a long time ago. And then over the last couple of years, we've done like pilot launches, which basically just with the audience that we already had so that they could kind of test the technology and basically rip it apart and tell me what sucks and what can be better. And now that we've been through enough of those, we're about to launch officially. So that's probably, 30 to 45 days away, which is really exciting. And on our website, every bracelet that you purchase goes back to some sort of nonprofit or cause. And with us too, it's not just about giving back to nonprofits, which I think is amazing. But I've also always been kind of the person that sees all these brands that 10% goes back to mental health or this or that, but you never see anything. You never know what's actually happening. And so we certainly are partnering with nonprofits, but we're going to have some more media pieces to that. But we also, too, might run a whole bracelet campaign that every person that purchases it it goes back to help this person who really deserves it, or a family that really needs it, or a community that's struggling, whatever it may be. So that's the exciting part about the e-com. And just this thing has a virality effect. So if it did as good as it did back then when I knew nothing and had no app and none of the other things we have, I'm really excited for what's going to happen this time around. So definitely a big lift is the e-com side launching soon. But the most exciting thing has been our B2B side. And, I always knew that I wanted to partner with other, organizations doing good things. I didn't always know what it was going to look like. And, we kind of tested a few things and all of them went really well. And we decided to go all in on it. And we also started just looking at like our bigger mission, right? We talk about wanting to change the world, make the world a better place, like decrease these terrible statistics that exist in our world. And as we were kind of mapping out the business, I was like, well, what are we going to do? Have 80 different branches of the company to solve all these different problems and have to find all these people? And what we kind of landed on was like, how about we just find other people, other good people doing good things that believe in our mission and we believe in theirs, and finding these people who've spent their life to solve this one problem or help this one group of people. And we just attach to what they're doing and become a multiplier and the reach, and also give them a tool and a vehicle that allows them to measure the impact and have a tangible, piece to go with their movement of their own.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, my wife and my son are going this summer to do a Honduras mission. They're doing a medical dental mission with the church. But that's one thing that's interesting. Even in some of these more poverty-stricken countries, a lot of people will at least have a phone,
Yeah.
right? They may not have an iPhone, whatever, 25, but they've got a phone that they can use, and so that would be something cool. I'll have to talk with them and see, because simple things can do that, but having a message from a missionary or having a message from somebody and then encouraging these kids and families in rural Honduras who, don't have drinking water and don't have electricity, hardly have electricity. So it's crazy because we live in such a blessed world. Having electricity in the towns that we served in Honduras was one light bulb, basically, a light bulb and a plug. And they typically plugged like a college-sized refrigerator in one, and then they had an open plug that probably they charged their phone in.
I was going to say their phone.
And so,
well, first off, happy to send you a box of some bracelets that they can take with them. So let me know about that. You just sent me a nice pecan pie today. At least I could do send you some more bracelets. But that's what's so cool about this. I really wish I knew, like, it's almost like more kind of selfish of like, I wish I knew like every impact that's ever been made with these bracelets. But the deal is, the app is so incredible, and it's going to be so awesome when we really take this to scale. But the bracelets, it doesn't need the app to make the impact. The whole first round of us doing this, there wasn't one. And we still got stories from all over the world. So the app is really cool. And I love that we can capture it. And I want to capture all of them. But at the end of the day, you could still write a note and give it to them. You could just give it to them. And whatever you say in that moment, now forever, when they look down, they're going to think of that moment. That's still a moment create. And that's what we're doing, is we're trying to create these little micro moments of kindness all around the world. Even if it's not in the app, that's still part of the movement,
Right. And even if it's not, even ultimately, if it's not a bracelet, right? Even if it's like, hey, I just want to go, if you just influence people to start being kind to each other, that's huge. That's a game changer anywhere, in a school, in a business, in a city, in a country. Anywhere you go, in an office. So yeah, that's very, very cool. That's awesome. So how is your packing going? That sounds like it's not as much fun as bracelets.
Yeah. Luckily, I'm going to ship all the bracelets to the 3PL before we move, so I don't have to pack all of those that are here. But packing's going good. I'd say I'm probably about 15 to 20% into it, but I have a whole bunch of boxes and moving bags and all that stuff being delivered over the next few days. So I definitely have my work cut out for me, but I do have some family flying in from Texas not this weekend, but next. And whether they know it or not, they're going to be here to hang out, but I'm going to put them to work a little bit.
Like, guess what? I have this bracelet for you and also some food, but I'm going to need you to help me pack this stuff up.
Yeah. I'll buy you guys some beer and give you some bracelets, tell you I love you, and get out here and help me.
Can you load up these dishes? I like it.
Yeah.
Moving is one of my like absolute least favorite things, but I'm an expert at it at this point because I've done it so much. Oh my gosh. If I never keep telling my husband, because we talk about like the house that we live in, like it doesn't, like we have so many kids and we don't have as much space, but I'm just like, I just remodel it. Like we'll be fine. We'll add on. Like I don't want to move again.
Yeah. We'll add a second story, a third, whatever we got to add. We'll underground it.
With every move, I just purge more stuff. Like I went from having to purchase such like a big like moving package when we would go from places to place that I've got it down to now that they're like, you have 4 kids and this is all y'all have on stuff. I'm like, yep, that's it. That's all we need.
That's what, with all the pricing and stuff too, it's like, I'd be better off selling everything that I have and just driving my truck than the amount I got to pay. The stuff I have is not worth what I got to pay to get it there.
No.
Very true. Very true. Well, that's awesome, man. I'm super excited for you. I'm excited for the move. I'm excited for this launch because that's awesome. Hopefully we can build it up. I know I've talked with Memorial Hermann, so shout out to Kate, our tomato pie. She was the only pie we ever had to make ourselves because she wanted a tomato pie.
A tomato pie. I don't know that I've ever even heard of that.
Pizza.
It's apparently a Southern pie that I made myself. It was quite well. The one she gave me was very good. The one that I gave her, it remains to be seen. She told me it was good, but I never actually tasted it. But she's the COO at Memorial Hermann, so I've talked with her a little bit. I was in a meeting with her earlier today, but she had to jet out, and so I didn't get to talk with her about our meeting today, but I'm going to catch up with her and see. Because like these big hospital systems, I mean, that's easy, whether it's patients, whether it's employees, whether it's staff, whether it's nurses, doctors. I mean, there's a ton of opportunity there to continue to build that those little moments. And when you have a million of those moments, then it makes a huge difference and it changes the culture, because people get lost in that in these big companies, and I think changing that is so valuable. So
that's exactly what it is, and especially with really big companies, the general population, they don't trust you, they don't think you care, they feel like they're just a cog in the wheel or a number in the system and a box being checked. And obviously I'm biased to how much value it brings with IBIY, but when somebody does that with kind of like what you said earlier, Taylor, with just the intention of they're not asking for anything in return. This is truly just a gift. And it is super simple and it's not that expensive. It's something that's the extra 5 seconds you took just to remind somebody that we really care. We're here. We're grateful that you're here. It's pretty simple to add into the ecosystem. But I think it, as I was saying earlier, like all these like really simple, but also some like life-changing, world-changing moments happened from somebody taking a extra couple of seconds to just remind somebody, hey man, you got this. That it makes a big splash. The kind of pebble turns into the ripples on the tide,
Yeah. Oh man, I love that. I love it.
Yep.
Very cool. So so from 19 until now, what were the biggest challenges? I mean, you obviously said you had multiple other businesses in between, but not easy. And I've got a 17-year-old, a 15-year-old, a 13-year-old. Taylor has 4 younger than that who are coming up. But like even the idea of being 19, 20, even now 22 and 25-year-olds thinking about doing something like what you're describing takes a lot of courage, to go out there, and it takes a little bit of courage, or maybe a lot of bit of courage to probably try and fail to get where you need to be. But what were the biggest challenges that you saw trying to get to where you are today?
It's a great question. I mean, I've certainly been punched in the face a whole bunch of times through the journey here. So there's different things, but truthfully, I think with some of it, it was the learning curve. Like you don't know what you don't know. Like I did free consulting for all of our clients for like 6 years. just because I was like, I don't know enough maybe for you to pay me for it, but I'm willing to learn and figure it out so that I can take the knowledge with me. So I think some of it was just my learning curve of really understanding how to be a business owner, and certainly the resources and the network. Like I didn't really have a network when I started, so I had to really build those relationships. But I think for me, a lot of it was just the once I got into the business that was actually working and I was learning and getting the resources, what I didn't think of is, hey, by the way, dude, you also don't know how to scale yourself out of a company and it's still run and do it. It was just things I had never done. So I think most of it was really just the learning curve and going and taking those punches in the face. But I think one of the things that I learned from that though is just knowing that the stumble is a part of the dance. Like that's a part of the process. Like that's how you really learn and really get the knowledge. And if you believe in the thing you're doing enough, as long as you don't quit, you don't lose. So I think it's just one of those things. Like you got to learn the lessons, and depends which way you want to learn them. But I kind of did it a little bit of the hard way. But you know, it's one of those things that when you, like I said, when you really, really believe in what you're doing, you're willing to do whatever it takes to make it happen. I was, grateful and lucky enough to have been kind of given this vision by just following my heart. Like that wasn't my intention with the stickers, was to start some big movement around the world, but just continuing to follow my heart and being willing to stick to it. Because I tell you right now, people put shiny objects in front of me every day and offer me jobs that would pay me certainly a lot more than I pay myself right now. But being willing to stick with the vision and take the sacrifices that are necessary now, because you know where you can take it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I like when you said the stumble is part of the dance. Reminds me of one of my favorite coaches that like I work with when I go work out. Today at my lunch break when I worked out, one of the things she always says is as long as you keep moving, you're winning, right? And so as long as you don't quit, as long as you, even though you're not doing something perfectly, even though you're not, maybe doing the full scale version, if you're doing a modified, as long as you're moving, you're winning. And when you just keep trying, even if there's the fear of failure, which I'm a recovering perfectionist and OCD person, so I always want to gather more information before I take leaps, right? I want to study the movement. I want to know how to do it perfectly before I try it. And sometimes, the biggest gains are just those little ones over time, as long as you keep
Yeah.
going, rather than trying to wait until you're going to do something perfectly and taking that knowledge with you. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. So
I like
true.
And Taylor would tell me the stumble actually is the dance. That's all there is just stumbling around. So
That's how it feels sometimes. That's how it feels.
but,
You
I mean,
know,
I think we just live in such a time where people expect things to happen. Like they would expect, hey, I'm 20 years old. I have this idea. I've been working on it for 6 months and I'm in the whole X number of dollars and I haven't paid myself anything. And why isn't it working? And the reality is that to get to that spot, you've got to make the mistakes and you've got to you got to try and fail and not quit. And the reality is, as this continues to explode and explode and explode, and we see you on, CNN and Fox and ABC and CBS and Good Morning America and doing all these different things that you're going to be doing here in the next 18 months, everybody's going to be like, this guy came out of nowhere. And it's going to be like, he's been working for a long time to get here.
Yeah.
And we'll just say, Slice of Piefer, that you heard it here first.
Yeah.
Big.
It's
And
gonna be cool.
I think it's going to go, I think you're absolutely right. I think it's going to do things that that you're not going to be expecting. I think you're going to have more copycats than in terms of it may not be bracelets, but it may be an earring or it may be a notebook or it may be a pen. But then all of a sudden, if your brand and if your mission is to spread the joy, then you just keep killing it, man, and you just keep making people better and better and better and feel better and better. I think that's
Yeah.
really awesome.
There's a few things that you said just now that I compiled all of my thoughts from. One is, with the younger kids that have been doing it for 6 months, everybody's been conditioned to instant gratification. And that's where it's like, I think your why really has to be big enough for one. Like, again, like I said, I get stuff put in front of me all the time. And there's certainly easier ways to make money than going through the hard stuff, especially with what we have. It's never been done before. So there's not a blueprint to map
Right.
it off of. One of the other things I was going to say is what's cool is you listed off all these different TV shows. One of the first ones that will probably come out is going to be a show that we're on together, which is pretty cool.
Yes.
Which will be fun to look back at this when that happens. And yeah, the other thing that you said is like the copycats and the different people. Well, there's one I can't mention for the sake of certain things at the moment, but from the very beginning, especially when I put this on pause, people are like, "Oh, like don't tell anybody, like keep it quiet, like somebody's gonna steal it." But people were already trying to steal it when we were starting the first time. But when I tell people, I'm like, what's somebody gonna do? Start "You are awesome" or "You are enough" or "You're
Right.
a thing." I said, I'll be the first person to buy it, call them and say, "Hey, we should collaborate." How can I really be somebody that says I believe in this mission and want to make the world a better place and be mad at people that are trying to help? you
Right.
know? So
Right.
as long as they're willing to collab and be open, great. If not, good luck. I will take the little chip on the shoulder competition. But if the people say that that's what they really want to do, it's just more room to collaborate and make a difference together. So I hope 100 people start something similar and we all collectively work on it.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm super excited for you because I think it's going to be huge. I think that the impact, you've seen what it is like on your current scale, but I think when you put it into a large scale, it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
Uh, it's going to take on a life of its own, for the good of everybody, which I think is really, really awesome. One of the things we talk about all the time on here is leadership. So, and what you feel like differentiates a good leader from a great leader? Obviously, you're leading your company, but you had mentors who you learned from. You've seen people. What is it that makes it the difference between a good leader and a great leader?
Yeah, that's a great question. And truthfully, I'm still on my journey of, learning to be a leader and that's something I pray about all the time. I think, you know, there's definitely some like bullet points of a good leader, but at the end of the day, some of it I think is just innate. And I think it really comes down to the intention and really wanting to serve, not only just your clients, but your people and anybody that's looking to get raised up. So, I think for me, the leaders that I look up to the most are the people that whenever I was younger, I remember very specifically when I started realizing that people make different amounts of money and different things like this. And I remember meeting people that had money and owned these businesses and all these things. And I'm like, well, what are you like? What are you doing with it? And there's some of them that have 10 houses and 10 cars and don't care about anybody else in the world. And so I think it's the people that reach great success and still are a good human across the board, and the leaders that are willing to bring people up with them. I think it was like a basketball camp I was at when I was younger or something. The coach said it's something about, reach one, teach one. I think is what he said. He's like, when you reach another level, reach back down and teach somebody else how to get up here. And I think that's a big one. And obviously, I'm a big believer that giving gives back. That's not why we give, but it's just like a natural law of the world. And I think the people that are big givers with big hearts and have the right intention, at least for me, those are the people that I want to follow.
Right. And you get so much, right? You get so much from that, even if that's not the reason that you're doing it. And frankly, I mean, that's super cool. In medicine, Taylor, the saying in medicine, see one,
Do one.
teach one,
Mm-hmm.
right? See one, do one, teach one. And so that's, keeping passing on medical education is very much like what you're saying here with basketball and with life. And I think that leadership, I think that, everything you've talked about, being willing to have a vision, to chase a vision, to continue to go after it, even when somebody pats you on the head and says, there, let us take it over from here. I mean, all of those things will inspire your employees, they'll inspire your team, they'll inspire your clients. And I think that's really, really fabulous in terms of just moving forward and ultimately changing the world. And I mean, that's the piece that, not everybody thinks that way. Like, not everybody understands that the simple interaction that you have with one person in Las Vegas, in Fort Lauderdale, in the Woodlands, Texas, in Scottsdale, wherever it is, that one interaction can change the entire world. And all you have to do is just found that interaction on loving people and doing what's better. And I think that's super cool. And that's why one of the reasons that I was so that I thought that it was so great to be able to have you here, and that our interaction in Las Vegas was so great, and so excited for you just in terms of your ability to kind of keep things moving and changing. And it's going to be interesting, because I have a feeling that that this podcast with like 4 listeners is probably going to disappear quickly before all of the cool stuff happens for you. But I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank you for coming on. The pecan pie, obviously everybody gets a pie, so that's awesome. Anything that Taylar and I could do to help you?
This is it. Other than I'll ship you some bracelets, and that's kind of the thing for us. I mean, as I've told you before, Jason, is certainly like, if you know some good people doing good things that you think might be, worth me and them jumping on a 10-15 minute call, I would love to meet them, whether they got a podcast and they've got 1 million followers or 5, whatever, it doesn't matter. The more people that we can lock arms with. And what I always kind of say internally is, I'm trying to build an army of kindness over here. So at whatever level people are involved, the more people, the better. This thing is bigger than me. It's bigger than all the organizations we work with. And so the more wave makers that we can create, the more people that can join the movement, that's really all we're looking for. So definitely love to meet good people. For sure. I won't turn down a good introduction, but I think just giving away some bracelets and passing it on and inviting other people to do the same.
Absolutely.
We can do that.
Taylar, any final thoughts for you?
No, not this time. So no, if I tell you what I was thinking about, it's going to come across dorky. You know how my brain works.
Dorky is fine.
He said army of kindness. And so of course in my head, I'm trying to create that into like some kind of, acronym. So I'm like, oak. Wait, no, that's of army kindness. Yeah. So that's where I was mentally when you're like, do you have
A-okay.
Like
A-okay.
A-okay.
I like it.
I like that. I like that so much better.
There you go. Well, we are going to play you off with applause that you're not going to hear, but it will be on the podcast. So maybe if I push the right button. And some music. So you have to pretend like you're dancing.
Okay.
That is
Hello.
it. All right, man. You were awesome. That's great.
Thank you. That was fun.
It'll come out in, I think, maybe 2 Mondays, maybe 3, maybe not this coming Monday, but 2 Mondays after that. So 2.5 weeks from now is when it'll come out. I'll shoot you a message beforehand or right after we release it, and we'll push it out on Instagram and Facebook and all that fun stuff as well. So it'll be there, and we'll get things going, man.
And he recorded it.
And I did.
That helps.
That was a very down moment for me the last time I Zoom, and I was like, I don't think I recorded any of this. That was a great time.
Oh man,
that's a keep moving moment. You learned something.
But yeah, the video will be on YouTube TV or YouTube, and then the audio is on pretty much everything else. So Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that stuff. And so just let me know. But I think you did awesome, man. I'm super excited. Thanks for taking the time to come, and let's reach out again maybe next week sometime. I'll see if I can. I'll shoot Kate a text message here in just a second and see if I can get her pin her down on maybe shooting you an email, or maybe I'll just facilitate a virtual introduction and you guys can take it from there.
Yeah, that sounds good. I really appreciate it, man.
You got it. Take it easy. Have a great one.
I will see you. Very nice to meet you. Bye.
Bye.